All right, so let's dive straight in. When it comes to radio communication, not all radios are created equal. You've got your simple family radio service, or FRS models. Those are your basic walkie-talkies, the ones you might pick up for camping trips or to keep in touch with family during hikes. Super easy to use, really plug and play. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, there are the programmable radios. Those are what amateur or ham radio operators use, and honestly, they can do some really cool things. Now, if you're a beginner, you'll probably start with the simpler radios, right? These often come with a knob, or maybe just a couple of buttons, that you use to pick a channel. All you need to do is make sure everyone's set to the same channel, and if the radio has privacy codes, make sure those match up too. It's kind of like the easiest tech handshake ever. Once you're synced, you're good to go. For programmable radios, though? Well, those take it up a notch. You can type in exact frequencies, use memory channels, even connect them to a computer to load up a ton of settings. It's a bit more advanced, but for those of you who love totally geeking out over gadgets, it's like radio nirvana. And trust me, it's worth learning. I still remember the first time I used a walkie-talkie, like properly. I was out in the woods with some friends. It was one of those classic group hikes. There I was, this kid fumbling with this little plastic radio, thinking I was a secret agent or something. I mean, it was the coolest thing. One button press and suddenly you're connected to someone who's a mile away. It felt like magic. So here's what you do if you're starting out. First, turn that radio on, pretty straightforward, and then pick your channel or frequency. For the FRS radios, you just turn to a number. For the programmable ones, maybe you're entering a frequency in by hand, or flipping to a memory preset. Oh, and don't forget to check those privacy codes if you've got them. No codes, no chat. It's as simple as that. And with that all set, you're ready to go. Getting on air is honestly simpler than people think, but the key is making sure you understand the basics of your specific radio. All right, now that we've covered the how to get started part with radios, so let's talk about one of the cornerstones of radio communication, the push-to-talk button, or as it's called, PTT. This little button is what makes everything happen. Without it, you're just, listening in on static or conversations that aren't yours. But using PTT right, that's where the magic kinda happens. The trick with any two-way radio is that it's not like a phone. You don't get to talk and listen at the same time. Seems simple enough, but you'd be surprised how many people forget the basics. Here's the golden rule. Listen first. I mean, press that button without checking if someone's already talking, and things can get messy quick. So yeah, pause, make sure the channel's clear, and then jump in. And when you do speak, keep it short and sweet. You don't need to tell a story, just hit the key points. Imagine you're on a youth emergency drill where every second can matter. Say there's a simulated rescue, right? If you're rambling or unclear, it could totally throw everyone off and boom, confusion sets in. But if you've got good radio discipline, it's smooth sailing. Like, Unit 1, checking the trailhead. All clear. See? Simple, precise. Oh, and speaking of clarity, always say who you are at the start of your transmission. Whether it's just your name or a call sign, you gotta let folks know who's talking. It's like raising your hand before speaking up in class. Makes the conversation more organized. One last thing, end your message the right way. A quick copy that or over works for replies, but when you're signing off, something like clear lets everyone know you're done talking. I mean, you don't want to just leave everyone guessing if you're still on the line, right? So, let's wrap up by talking about one of the coolest pieces of radio tech out there, repeaters. If you've ever wondered how radio signals can travel further than walking distance, repeaters are the secret sauce. Picture this. A repeater is like a friendly middleman. It's usually placed on a mountain or tall building, listening for your signal on one frequency, and then blasting it out on another with way more power. Pretty neat, right? Here's how it works. Your radio sends a signal to the repeater, called the input frequency. The repeater takes that signal, amplifies it, and retransmits it on a different frequency, called the output frequency. Think of it like tossing a ball. Except the repeater's got arms like a professional pitcher, so it can throw the ball a lot farther than you could on your own. But of course it's not magic. To use a repeater, you have to program your radio with the repeater's input and output frequencies. And that's not all. Most repeaters also need something called an offset, which is like a little adjustment between those frequencies. Plus, many require a tone, a special sub-audible signal, to let the repeater know your transmission is legit. It sounds like a lot, but once you do it a couple of times, it's pretty straightforward. Let me give you a real-life example. There's a ham radio club in my area that coordinates events using a mountaintop repeater. Imagine this, a community fun run with volunteers spread out all over town. Their handheld radios wouldn't typically cover those distances. But with a repeater? Boom. The coordinator at the check-in tent can stay connected with the water station crew, the parking volunteers, even the lead biker guiding the runners. Everyone's got each other's backs, and the whole event runs smoothly. That's the power of repeaters in action. Oh, and one more thing. Simplex versus duplex communication is something you'll hear about a lot. Simplex is what most walkie-talkies use. Everyone's on one frequency, so only one person can talk at a time. Duplex, on the other hand, is what happens with repeaters or even phone systems. You got two frequencies, one for talking, one for listening. Most radios do half duplex, so you still need to use the PTT button. But full duplex lets people talk and listen at once, although that's way less common in two-way radios. So yeah, whether you're organizing an event, tackling a big hike, or just geeking out about gadgets, repeaters can be a game changer. They keep communication lines open when you need them most. And on that note, I think we've covered some solid ground today. Radios might seem old-fashioned in the age of smartphones, but honestly, there's something timeless about pushing that button, hearing that static crackle, and saying, "Hello, can you hear me?" So go out there, give it a shot. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself falling in love with radios the way I did. All right, that's all for today. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.